Hello everybody and welcome to the first part of What If Madara was reincarnated as Naruto. I hope you enjoy this what if. Also, if you want a part 2, like, comment and subscribe to the channel. Madara suddenly awoke from his slumber and shot his body abruptly till he was sitting. He looked around at his surroundings with his eyes as he skimmed through the unfamiliar room. One thing was clear to Madara, and that he was not in the same place as he was before. He expected to be dead, meeting his brother and father in some sort of afterlife, if there was one for him. He didn't expect that he would awake to be in some random room. Why was this room so dirty and unclean anyways? If you're gonna accommodate guests, at least make the place nice and tidy. Shaking the thoughts aside, he stood up and walked away. He walked through each room, eyeing everything before moving towards another room. Wait, I shouldn't even be able to walk. Madara's thoughts were jumbled and messed up. It shouldn't be possible to walk with a weak body such as his. After his battle with Hashirama, and being stabbed, he had to use his Anaji to survive from dying and then take Hashirama's cells from his body to survive. Even then he needed the Geto Mazo and Hashirama's artificial body to survive, after that using Zetsu clones and Black Zetsu. After that he needed someone to take his place, so when a young Obito was crushed under a rock, he took this chance to shape him into another Madara. Though the boy's will was quite impressive, he was able to break him when he made him watch his childhood crush get killed by the person he promised him that he'll take care of her was quite a coincidence. He originally wanted the mist ninja he controlled to kill her, but it was better than he expected. After that it was very easy to shape and mold him into something anew. Madara walked towards the bathroom. He entered where he saw a mirror, and to his surprise, his face was not as he expected. Instead of the long hair and old-looking face, he saw a 12-year-old boy with blonde hair and whisker marks on his cheeks. He then looked down at his body. He wore orange and blue jacket with a white collar, a white swirl with a tassel on the left side, and a red swirl which Madara recognized as the Uzumaki crest on the back. He also wore orange pants as he looked down further. Madara pondered what he plans to do when a sudden headache left him in pain. He fell to the floor holding his head with his hands. The information and knowledge of the current body he is in started to transfer. It took a few more seconds to register everything before the headache stopped. How convenient. I would have expected to get these memories sooner, like when I woken up, but this also works as well, Madara thought as he stood up. Naruto Uzumaki. He smiled at the mirror on the wall. He stopped after a few seconds and registered what the people in Konoha said. Demon. Monster. Madara thought for a while to process the words they said. His thoughts being broken as he pulled up his shirt, revealing a swirl pattern. The Kyuubi, he yelled in his head. It seemed to make so much more sense. He was a Jinchuriki. Madara smacked his forehead and sighed. Fortunately he was able to speed his plan up. Unfortunately he was the target of Obito now. Another thing in Naruto's memory was that the Uchiha have all died except one named Sasuke. Naruto counted him as a rival trying to beat him. Madara shook his head and scoffed. This was to be expected. If the Uchiha listened to him, then they wouldn't have been exterminated. But they turned their backs on him and called him the traitor and monster for taking his brother's eyes. He stopped and decided that it would better to leave the thinking for later and enter the academy, because for Naruto, he was going to graduate. He stopped at the door. Madara blinked a couple of times before stopping. There was no way I am going to walk outside like this, Madara said as he looked down in disgust. Maybe it's time to go to some clothing shop and change. Madara reached the academy where his memory, Naruto's memory told him. Though he was not late, he was not exactly early as well. He ran into a problem during his clothes shopping which set him back a bit. But he was Madara, the great Uchiha clan leader. Madara Uchiha that everyone fears. That everyone doesn't know about. Flashback. Madara jumped from roof to roof, finding a suitable store for his preferences. He looked down and saw a clothing store. Okay, maybe not a store with his preference, but anything other than the orange jumpsuit this body wears. He jumped down in the street. He hears the civilians whispering as usual. This body was used to this but had no idea why they hated him. Madara knew better. He grinned as he walked towards the store where the attendant tried to stop him. We don't accept you here, they yelled. Madara looked at the person. Who are you to stop me? Madara replied as he leaked out some killing intent but not too much as to alert the Hokage. The civilians nearby started to freak out and left. The attendant could only sweat as they stood right next to the source. All right, this way, yes sir, they could only stutter as they walked into the store. Reaching into the store, Madara looked around. He was contemplating on what to wear and buy. He thought about wearing the same clothes that he wore in his previous life. Why not? Do you have any black shirts with high collars? Madara asked, looking around to spot if they have any. Why yes, right this way, the attendant frighteningly spoke. They lead Madara to a section of the store where Madara found a perfect shirt. Where are the pants? Madara then asked after choosing the shirt. The attendant lead him towards another section. Madara took longer to choose which pants he wanted before choosing the black over blue as to match his black shirt. He bought multiple sets and different clothes afterwards. So how much? Madara inclined as he asked the attendant how much it costs. The attendant, still terrified from before and worried he could potentially die, responded with what he thought was a logical answer. WLITS free for this purchase, and WE thank you for purchasing with us today, trying to keep a smile on their face as best as they could. Madara made grin. Very well then, we shall see if we meet again ever. He walked out the store. Madara began to jump up onto the roof again and made his way back home to drop off the items he bought. He reached his balcony and entered, where he threw the bags onto the bed, then exited via balcony again. Not before changing into his new clothing. He started running across roof to roof before he saw a weapons shop. Madara stopped and jumped down again. He landed in front of the weapons store. He took a good look before entering in. When he walked in, Madara expected to either get kicked out or be overpriced and shown bad weapon quality. But his expectations was differed when the owner looked at him without any malice or hate. Madara raised a brow. Do I not scare you? Do you not hate me? Madara asked nonchalantly. Should a little brat like you suppose to scare me? Why would I hate someone like you? The man replied. You're a good person, Madara blatantly said. Madara quickly covered his mouth. His eyes were wide open. He never thought those words would come out of his mouth. The man scoffed. Trust me, kid, I'm not really a good person, he replied to Madara's words. Your perception is different to mine. Reality is different in every person. Their perception of reality differs to what mine is. The eye sees only what the mind is prepared to comprehend. The shopkeeper had an understanding look but also was kind of freaked out. Some 11-year-old brat is talking about things that he shouldn't even know. You are a kid yet you talk like an adult would, he remarked. I guess so. Madara stood still for a moment before he turned towards him. Do you sell gunbuys? Madara asked. Gunbuys? I have never heard of someone use a gunbuy as a weapon, well besides. He trailed off, but Madara suspected he did not want to tell. Madara Uchiha. He finished off his sentence. The man waved it off. Let's forget about that. Well, we don't have gunbuys, we don't even sell them. You know, kid, I have people who order kunais, shurikens, swords, but this is the first time someone asks for a gunbuy, he laughed. Can you make it? Madara asked. The man had a blank look. Can you make it? Madara asked again. Madara was looking through the weapons while the man thought in silence. Well, I could try, though don't expect it to be good, he finally answered. Madara stopped looking through and looked at the man. That works for me, but if you can, I would like it to have long handle with bandages wrapped around the base, as well as having a long chain attached to it. Put a comma on the chain if you could, and it needs to be able to convert incoming chakra into wind nature transformation. It should be a wide fen that is able to deflect weapons and also be used as 1-inch, Madara requested. The man could only laugh as he put his hand on his forehead. Kid, I'm not some sort of legendary blacksmith. I doubt I'd be able to implement all of these features, and even if I could it would take weeks, no months, or maybe a year to create, he explained. I do not mind how long it takes as long it is created. Madara closes his eyes before and massaged his temple. Even if he wasn't able to complete it, he could do without it. This would be a nice bonus. The man sighed in defeat. Very well, I shall find someone to make it, and if I can't then you won't need to pay, the man smiled. Madara stopped massaging and looked at the shopkeeper. Now do you need anything else? He asked. Madara could almost laugh before the man asked him another question. Are you in Genin? Don't you need to go with your sensei? The words that came out of his mouth reminded Madara that he needed to be in academy soon. Madara freaked out, surprisingly, to the man's amusement. I would like to order a kozurigama. I'll come back and pay later. He ran out the door as he yelled out the item he wanted. The man gave out a hefty laugh. Very well, I shall prepare that order for you then, he thought before heading out to the back of his store. Flashback end. Madara ran through hell and back as he barely reached the academy. He stood right in front of the door to his classroom with his arms crossed. He stood at the door for a few seconds scanning the door. Finally he entered in the classroom. He walked in as he saw all the children look at him, not without hate but with curiosity. This was not normal at all. The dead last was 1. Not being super hyperactive. 2. Being completely silent and quiet. 3. Wearing new clothes. 4. Not declaring he will be Hokage. They all watched in curiosity as he stood in front of the class watching him scan his eyes. He then started to walk towards a seat where he sat down. It was a completely empty seat far away from where he would normally sit. This was completely strange. 5. He was not fighting with Sasuke. The world is ending, some child screamed out. Soon the entire class was in uproar besides some people. Madara ignored the comments, though he heard some girls comparing him to SSASK. Sasuke. Nah, he was messing with you, he knew. Right. He is a relative. Was a relative until he got brought into some kid's body. Madara sat here for 2 reasons. One is that he was far away from some pink-haired banshee who loved to hit this kid. Gotta keep it good rating, you know. No swearing. Hey, stop breaking the 4th wall. It's expensive to repair. Honestly, what is wrong with Naruto? So what if this is your crush? She would not be a worth of his time, let alone Madara's. Though Madara knew that the reason why Naruto had a crush on her. To beat Sasuke. I guess he failed in beating him in love like other areas. Madara laughed at the pathetic reason for loving someone like her. Madara knew that Naruto used Sakura as a tool to beat Sasuke in love. It was obvious that this kid only wanted to use her to beat Sasuke, forgetting the fact that he had all the memories of Naruto himself. Shame all he received was becoming some punching bag. Madara scanned through his memories of Naruto that he gained. The rivalry of Sasuke and him. The jealousy of that Sasuke is better. Loneliness. Madara shook off those memories before coming to another one. It showed a young girl who Naruto meets. They both talk, then Naruto takes her home and tells her not to cry. Madara scoffed. Another memory plays again in Madara's head. This time it shows the same girl who is now getting bullied by 3 kids. Naruto tries to defend her but ends up getting beaten. They talk again before Naruto leaves. I would have beaten those weaklings, how pitiful. Madara stood up trying to clear his head. The class watched him stood up who watched Naruto intensely. Madara, forgetting he was watched, had a sort of freaked up face but slowly went back to being emotionless. Could you all please stop crowding around me? Madara yelled. The class backed off a bit but still didn't take their eyes off him. Madara could only tisk in annoyance. He looked around not understanding why he did, but he did it. Spotting one blue-haired white-eyed girl. Madara's eyes widened and went back to being normal. Leaving the chair he sat down at, he walked over to her much to her surprise. Sitting down next to her, Madara watched as the blue-haired girl started to go red and freak out. Madara was about to say something before she fainted. Madara quickly caught her and laid her head on his lap. The definition that Naruto put of this girl was Hyuga Hinata, a weirdo who always looks away when I look at her. A shy and dark girl. Hinata, The door then gets busted in, showing two girls arguing about who got into the classroom first, who were shoving the other, which then turned it into another argument. So the girl has come. Madara watched the girl argue, then fawn over the Uchiha. Then argue again. He couldn't understand what is going through that girl's head. She then looked around before she spotted Naruto. Marching over towards him, she slammed her hands on the desk. "Naruto baka, what are you doing?" Madara growled. "How dare this damn girl? The audacity of this, I'm saying it. Bitch. What do you want from me?" Madara yelled as he stared at her eyes. "I moved here so I wouldn't be bothered by the likes you. And you still bother me. Leave me alone, I don't like you." Madara was complaining. He didn't care, he just wanted this pink-haired woman, no girl, to leave him alone so he can think about how he was going to fulfill his Eye of the Moon plan. Sakura was in a state of disbelief. Naruto isn't asking her for dates, nor will he bug her again. Inner Sakura was cheering, as was normal Sakura. If Naruto isn't going to bug me anymore, that means Sasuke-kun is all mine as long I beat Ino Pig, Sakura thought in her mind. Naruto doesn't like you anymore, it means you aren't pretty billboard brow. But I wouldn't mind having him, Ino remarked. Sakura's eye widened up. She turned back to look at Naruto, only this time she sees Hinata. Madara looked at the expressions on her face. She seemed sad or hurt, then she started to smile or grin. Naruto doesn't like me anymore. This is good. Now Sasuke-kun is all to yourself. Cha. Sakura smiled. She then looked at Naruto with a forced smile. "Well then, Naruto, I congratulate you for finally seeing that it would never work out between us." Madara looked at Sakura with an unimpressed expression. "Just leave," Madara motioned. Sakura huffed and walked towards her, Sasuke-kun. Meanwhile, Hinata was having mixed emotions. Does this mean Naruto-kun likes someone else? Is it me? Naruto-kun's close to me. Hinata's head was still resting on Naruto's lap. She was enjoying the position she was in before the class teacher Irika Yumino entered, telling the class to quiet down. Hinata got her head off Naruto's lap and sat up. Irika looked around. He first looked at where Naruto sat before seeing he wasn't there. He sighed a depressed sigh, then scanned the room. He noticed Hinata sitting next to Naruto in a different seat, or Naruto sitting in a different seat next to Hinata. Irika was confused as he was shocked. "Naruto. Why you're here?" Irika asked. Naruto looked at the man. They stared at each other's eyes before Naruto smiled. "I was always here, Irika-sensei," Naruto cheerfully replied. Oh, okay then, well, anyways we will soon be doing the graduation test. First we will start with the written exam," Irika said. Madara groaned and dropped his head on table with a bang. It was like if his head became so heavy he couldn't hold the weight. That was how Madara felt. It was not like he didn't know exams. Well, he didn't. Madara had never done exams before. Why? Well, because all his life he had fought on the battlefield. That's all he did. Besides creating a village, that's all. And it wasn't helpful that this body knew nothing and was completely lazy and unreliable. Madara tried to answer the questions the best he could. I mean, what the hell? When do we need to calculate the trajectory of a shuriken if an enemy was hiding behind cover? You don't. You would be hiding and throwing as you go. It didn't even help that someone put genjutsu on his test paper at the start. Madara could laugh and scoff at such an action. You dare put genjutsu and not expect Madara Uchiha to not notice? How foolish. At least the written exams was over. With written exams that done, he blitzed through the entire practical exam. It's not every day you could show off your skills as a Uchiha. Madara watched the reactions of the kids. Some boys were shocked, some were cheering, some were jealous, some didn't care. Then he saw the girls, all they could do was complain. Paying no heed to their complaints, Madara distanced himself away from everyone before it was time for the final test. Madara waited until it was his turn. It took him 3 times his name being called out and one teacher to realize that it was actually his turn. It was not his fault for not remembering that his name was Naruto. He was always known as Madara. Madara listened as the instructor asked him to use the Henge no Jutsu. He was pondered on what he transformed into. Should he use it? Naruto already knew this jutsu and made a variant of it. Hence why Madara knew how to do the jutsu. The sexy jutsu, how stupid. No, I will not make a fool out of myself, he mentally berated himself. Thinking, got it. Madara used the transformation jutsu. When the smoke disappeared, Madara had transformed into Hashirama Senju. Iruka stood or sat dumbfounded at the transformation. And Naruto, how do you know what Lord first looked like? Iruka asked. Madara laughed. I know this damn baka like the back of my hand, Madara quipped. Naruto, don't speak ill of the Shodai Hokage, Iruka scolded him. Naruto scoffed. They wouldn't know how Hashirama actually acted before. Anyways, please do the Kawarimi no Jutsu, Iruka asked. Madara easily did this. And now please do the Bunshin no Jutsu, he asked again. Madara thought about how Naruto was bad at this jutsu. Luckily for him, he knew something better. Moku Bunshin no Jutsu. Madara screamed out. Silence passed before someone talked. What exactly happened? Iruka looked around with Mizuki. Oh right. I totally forget I don't have any Hashirama cells, I'm such a fool, Madara facepalmed. He made a hand seal for the Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. 2 Narutos popped out of existence. Iruka looked back at the clones. Oh well, congrats Naruto, you passed. Iruka happily clapped before he gave him his forehead protector. Madara snatched it and walked away with a depressed face. Damn Hashirama cells. Madara paid no mind to the people's comments and was about to walk his way back home when a certain person came to talk to Naruto. Hey Naruto, congrats, you passed. The person identified by Naruto as Mizuki-sensei smiled. Madara, annoyed and now tired, sent the teacher a glare and a growl. Yeah, I be off now, Madara did not care. Do you want to know a secret? Mizuki asked. What? No, unless it gives me Hashirama cells, I do not need to know a secret. Now leave me alone, I'm busy plotting, Madara snapped. Mizuki had a confused look. Do you want to know how to become the Rookie of the Year? Mizuki asked. Damn you, I do not have time for your shenanigans, Mizuki. Now, as I said multiple times, leave me alone. Madara swore if this guy does not leave him alone, he will kill him in his sleep. Madara walked off, leaving a very confused and angry Mizuki. He swore Naruto would be swayed by being Rookie of the Year. Now that his plans were messed up, he had no idea what to do now. The next day, Madara walked to the academy where he promptly sat down next to Hinata again. The dark-haired girl could only stare, much to blonde boy's annoyance. Still better than sitting next to the other girl. Deciding to go to sleep, he put his head on the table. Until some sort of loud woke him up. He shot up and looked at what was causing the noise. It was the same blonde-haired and pink-haired girls. Them again. Didn't they do that before? How original. Madara put his hand together in a very Sasuke-like pose, with his face hiding behind his hands. Madara was busy finger-tenting and plotting his plan before Iruka came in. Madara paid no mind to what he said as he started to wonder again. Team 7, Uzumaki Naruto. Sakura Haruno. Sasuke Uchiha. Madara briefly heard his body's name being called and he moved his head up to see who called him. He looked around and saw the instructor. What's going on? Madara asked. Weren't you listening? We are part of a team. We're Team 7 if you listened, Sakura yelled. Oh really? Sure, okay then. Madara then looked down and started to ponder again. It wasn't until someone was entered the room hours later and a girl screaming into his ear did Madara notice that the classroom was completely empty. Did he start to move? Oh boy, this was going to be a long day. If Madara was describe his Jonin sensei in one word. It would be lazy. He made them wait over 3 hours then expected to come with him after. It's not like Madara cared how long he waited. He was in such deep thought that those hours felt like seconds. Okay, let's begin with some introductions, he said. What do you want to know? Sakura asked. How about your likes, dislikes? Dreams for the future, hobbies, stuff like that, Kakashi asked. Can you demonstrate it for us, Kakashi? Asked Madara, gaining nods from his two comrades. Kakashi sighed before starting. Okay, well, my name is Kakashi Hatake. I have no desire to tell you guys my likes and dislikes, dreams for the future. Hobbies, I have lots of hobbies, Kakashi introduced himself. All we learned was his name. Sakura disappointingly said. All right, the next are you guys. We'll start with you. The person on the right, he said. My name is Uchiha Naruto, I mean Uzumaki Madara, or it's Uzumaki Naruto. Madara yelled out. They looked at Naruto confusingly. Sasuke more than others. Ahem, my likes are dancing, inari zushi, I guess ramen as well, and Hashirama, but I dislike Ro, Hashirama, Tobirama, and the Senju clan. My hobbies include falconry, watering plants, pranking and dancing. My dream is to make Project Tsuki no Mi, the Eye of the Moon plan complete and bring peace to the world. Madara exclaimed as he stood up with his hands spread apart. Like he is doing a T-pose. Felt like Zetsu might become Jubi Jinchuriki later. Watch creation of the Akatsuki where Zetsu talks to Kakuzu and says that the Akatsuki will bring peace to the world. Timestamp 403. This is certainly interesting. Kakashi looked at the child that was part of his genin team. Alright, next up you Pinky, Kakashi said, which made the girl scowl at the nickname. My name is Haruno Sakura, what I like, I mean who I like is, my hobbies are. Madara could only shake his head in disappointment. He scoffed, which was not gone unnoticed by the others. You got something to say, Naruto Baka? Sakura angrily asked. You're weak, Madara responded nonchalantly. What was that? Sakura yelled, unable to contain her anger. Madara wanted to stop arguing with the pink-haired girl. So he used the most used fanfiction trope for Uchiha to end any conversation. Yes, he used the HN. Sakura could only growl in anger before she almost punches Naruto. Kakashi pointed to Sasuke. Okay, the last member, tell us about yourself. With a HN he started to talk. My name is Uchiha Sasuke. I hate a lot of things, and I don't particularly like anything. What I have is not a dream, because I will make it a reality. I'm going to restore my clan and kill a certain someone. Sakura thought that was cool. Madara paid a little attention to what he said. It was something about killing and something about killing. But his mind was set on something else. When he first thought about Sasuke, he thought little of the Uchiha child. It was until he saw his face did his mind start going to work. It reminded him of his little brother Izuna. Madara shook his head. He couldn't tell if his brother had a child before his death. Kakashi knew it. Well, this is certainly a very interesting team. Kakashi I smiled as he spoke. Well, we are gonna start our ninja duties tomorrow. He continued. Sakura asked, Sensei, what kinds of duties are you talking about? Well, tomorrow, all of us are going to partake in survival training, Kakashi said. Sakura looked up, survival training. Yes, and I'll be your opponent, but this isn't going to be normal training, Kakashi said before he started to laugh a bit. Sakura looked at him funnily. What's so funny, Sensei? The pink-haired girl asked. Kakashi managed to stop laughing to answer her. No, it's just that when you guys hear this, you all are going to flip out. Of the 27 graduates, only 9 will be chosen as genin and the rest will return to the academy. This training is basically a super difficult test with a failure rate of 66%. Sakura and Sasuke got really nervous while Naruto had a normal Uchiha expression. See? I told you that you were going to freak out. Kakashi did take note that Naruto's expression didn't change. He continued nonetheless. We'll be on training field 3 tomorrow. Bring your shinobi tools and skip breakfast, unless you want to throw up. Kakashi then left in a puff of smoke. How interesting. Madara was glad it was over. He had to think about how to get stronger quicker. If he wanted to support his plan, he'll need the skills, and right now he is as good as a blunt kunai. For now it's better to use this to see what jutsus he is able to use and regain muscle memory he lost. Madara had previous knowledge that he knew and all the hand seals to do it as well as the katas he uses, but he needed to refine it so he could reach his former glory. Besides, now that he has near infinite chakra, he could abuse lots of things. Being a Uzumaki does have some perks, as well as being the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. Madara wondered if he should go back to Mountain's graveyard and take his weapons and his one good eye back. Shaking off the thoughts for later, he left the two others and proceeded to go home. The two focused on their own thoughts, did not realize Naruto left as when they looked to their side, finding out the blonde-haired boy is already gone and all that replaced him is a gust of wind. Madara didn't wake up early because of the test. In fact, he totally forgot about the test and only woke up due to him wanting to visit the weapon store and buying a Kuzurigama. Getting up from his newly clean but still old and small apartment, Madara walked over to his table and poured a glass of milk into a bowl with cereal in it. He went shopping before going home as he didn't want to eat expired or rotten food. So he purchased the food from stores. The store owners and shopkeepers were more than willing to comply with his purchases and requests. He sat down all by himself and ate the cereal. After finishing, he put the bowl into the sink and washed it. Then he got out of his PJs and into his mission attire clothes. He opened his door, left his house, then proceeded to jump from roof to roof until he reached the same store 2 days ago. Walking in, he spots the same man who was busy polishing some kunais. "You're back again already." The man stopped polishing the kunai and placed it down on the counter. "Yes, well, I wanted to buy a dash." Before Madara could finish, the man sets down a Kuzurigama. "A Kuzurigama?" he asked. "Why you?" Madara eyes widened and stuttered a bit. "You remember, you heard what I said." Madara returned to his stoic pose and emotionless face. "Of course." Madara placed down the money, which made the shopkeeper's eyes widen now. "You gave me a little too much." "Keep it, it's not like I need it anyways." The man chuckled. Madara grabbed the Kuzurigama off the counter and started to get a feel on it. "Is that all?" he asked afterwards. Madara shook his head and bid the man goodbye. Madara swung his new weapon around happily. He wondered how he could test his new weapon in battle. "Didn't I have someone to dance with?" Madara remembered that he had to do a test. Madara quickly leapt onto the roof and started to run towards the third training ground. Quickly running there, Madara spots the pink-haired girl and the Uchiha brat. The first person stood near a tree leaning on it with his hands crossed and eyes closed, the other had an angry expression. "Naruto baka, where have you been? You're late." Sakura yelled and attempted to punch his head. Madara gave out a scowl. He dodged the attempt attack on him, then grabbed the girl's arm. He gave out an angry, scary expression. "If you ever insult me or attempt to do anything to hurt me, I will leave you in a pile of dust next time. I do not want to waste my time with such weaklings. Do I make myself clear?" Madara threateningly said to the girl. Sakura, completely terrified, nodded her head. He let go of her arm and went to do of his own accord. Sakura sat down on the ground and curled up in a ball. Naruto was never like this. She thought about all the bad things she'd done to him. "Naruto doesn't like me anymore. I guess I deserve this treatment." After about an hour passed, Kakashi finally came. Sakura looked up from her position and stood up to yell at their late sensei. The said sensei made up some shitty-ass excuse, then proceeded to get a clock and bells. "Well, you know why you are here. Your genin test. To pass this test you have to get these 2 bells from me." Kakashi explained, showing them 2 little silver bells, which were chiming in his hands. "But, Kakashi-sensei, there are only 2 bells for the 3 of us," Sakura said. "Correct. That means one of you won't get a bell. The one that doesn't get a bell will be tied to the post and I will eat lunch before his eyes," Kakashi said. 2 stomachs grumbled. Kakashi looked at Naruto. "You seem to have eaten breakfast, Naruto. Care to tell your teammates why?" Kakashi asked. Madara stood there motionless. He really couldn't tell them that he forgot. Of course I would eat, we are shinobi, eating food is important, Madara smugly said as he made up an excuse. Luckily he bought it. Sakura wanted to scold Naruto, but then she remembered what he said and kept her mouth shut. You have until noon to get the bells. You can use all your equipment. If you really want to get a bell, you will have to come at me with the intent to kill. Kakashi said. But, Kakashi-sensei, you could be hurt if we did that. Sakura stated. He'll regret what he said, Madara thought. Don't worry about me. Ready, set, start. He said and the three jumped away to hide. First time writing a fight scene, whelp. Madara left like the other two but stopped on top of a branch. He looked back. Why did I leave? Madara turned around then started to jump from branch to branch till he reached the silver-haired man and jumped down revealing himself. I the great Madara Uchiha will not run. Kakashi looked at the blonde. I will not run away. I hope you can give me a good dance, Madara stated with his hands crossed. Kakashi looked at him now with a different expression. Madara and Kakashi stood still for a couple seconds. Then Madara started to walk towards Kakashi, then started to run, then started to sprint. He saw Kakashi pulling something from his pouch. A weapon. How unfair, Madara thought. Kakashi pulled out a book and started reading it. How stupid. Madara reached Kakashi and started to launch a barrage of punches. Kakashi started to dodge them, not taking his eyes off his book. This damn body. My muscle memory, I know the moves, I just can't seem to put it into action. Madara tried to sweep Kakashi's leg but jumped up dodging the attempt. He giggled like a little girl continuing to read his book. I am losing. And is taunting me. Madara angrily screaming in his head. Growling he leapt back and took out his Kusarigama, spinning it in the air then throwing it towards Kakashi. Kakashi poked an eye out of his book, barely dodging the thrown weapon. Kakashi's eye widened. So did Sakura. As well as Sasuke. Madara's mouth formed a grin. Now that you stop reading, it's time for me to get serious. Madara spun his weapon around again and started to throw it at Kakashi, who was trying his best to dodge it. Kakashi put his book away and started to get serious as well from the look of his face. Madara stopped using his Kusarigama and threw a bunch of shurikens from his pouch. The shurikens started to curve towards Kakashi. Kakashi quickly ran and jumped towards a nearby tree where the shurikens were now deeply rooted. Hey, now those shurikens were aiming to kill me. Don't you think you could stop now? Kakashi asked. Oh, weren't you the one that said come at you with the intent to kill? Madara smugly responded. Touché. Madara dashed back and started to cast a jutsu. Katan, Gokamekyaku, a giant wave of flame burst out from Madara's mouth which was heading towards Kakashi. What? How is that possible? A normal genin shouldn't have enough chakra for that. A fire jutsu like shouldn't even be used by normal genin, Kakashi said to his surprise. Quickly getting of his dazed state, Kakashi quickly did some hand seals. Doton, Dorihiki, Kakashi quickly slammed his hand on the ground, erecting a giant stone wall which blocked him from the jutsu. The wall was quickly torn apart, only leaving the front of wall which shielded Kakashi. Kakashi sighed, avoiding the catastrophe. Kakashi suddenly heard a noise, turning around to see a kunai passing through, missing the fact that Madara suddenly appeared and kicked Kakashi in the face. His body hit the wall which was shown by the dent in it. Taking the chance Kakashi was dazed, Madara leapt forward and tried to stab Kakashi with his Kusarigama. Before he could strike, another two hands grabbed his legs and dragged him towards the ground. Doton, Shinjuzanshu no Jutsu, Madara's eye widened. Kakashi, shaking his head, looked at Naruto. I almost got killed by you, Naruto. I think it's time for you to rest. Kakashi looked at the head and ground which belonged to Naruto. You better start getting seriously now and use every trick you have. Madara burst out of the hole and was about to uppercut him before Kakashi grabbed his arm and threw him towards a tree. Madara felt the impact as his back was thrown towards the tree. But still he got up again. The kusarigama that Madara used, laid on the grassy floor where Kakashi picked it up. "I got your weapon, Naruto, it's over," Kakashi said. Madara scoffed. He pulled out a kunai from his ninja pouch and held it in his hand. Kakashi closed his eye hard and squeezed his forehead. He then started to pull off his ninja headband, revealing the Sharingan. Meanwhile, Sakura was too confused and amazed to move. So fast, I couldn't even see it. While Sasuke was angry, jealous, and amazed at Naruto's power. How could he be so strong? Where can I get this power? When Kakashi pulled out his headband revealing the Sharingan, Sasuke now had different thoughts. How does he have that? He shouldn't have the Sharingan. Back to Naruto and Kakashi. Naruto had a smirk. "Now you show it," Madara spoke softly as to not let Kakashi hear. Unfortunately, Kakashi's Sharingan was able to lip-read Madara's mouth moving as he said the words. "What do you mean now I show it?" Kakashi asked. Madara chuckled a little bit before he answered. "It's nothing," before he ran towards Kakashi. Kakashi also followed and soon both dueled it out. They ran towards each other, missing before turning around and facing face to face. Madara and Kakashi was soon kicking, dodging, and parrying each other's attacks. Kakashi managing to disarm Madara, the kunai flew up into the air. He jumped up where he kicked the kunai towards Madara's face, slicing his cheek. Taking the time Madara needed to recover, Kakashi launched a powerful front kick towards Madara's chest. Madara, reacting with his quick reflexes, grabbed his leg with his right hand. Madara, using this opportunity, quickly launched a punch towards Kakashi's chest. Sharingan coming into play, Kakashi quickly blocked the punch his left hand. His other available hand clenched into a fist that was directed to Madara's face. Reacting to this action, Madara threw Kakashi's leg away, blocking the attack. Now with both hands occupied, Madara and Kakashi both held onto each other's hands tightly before a smirk came onto Madara's face. "I borrow this," as he used Kakashi's hand to make a hand seal. Kakashi, trying to pull away, was kicked in the face by Madara and staggered back. Grabbing his hand again and finishing off the last of the hand seals, he used Kakashi as a launch pad and jumped off him, as well as making Kakashi stumble over. Katan, Gokaku no Jutsu, Madara exhaled a giant ball of flame which headed towards Kakashi. Kakashi rolled to the side to avoid the incoming jutsu. Both stood still, trying to regain their strength back. Blue eyes meet dark gray with a Sharingan. "Naruto's wasting my time, I still need to test the others." Kakashi made a hand seal for a clone. The clone started to run forward, which led to Madara to run as well. As they were about to bump into each other, the clone sidestepped Madara and grabbed his arm, causing Madara to turn his head. The clone turned into lightning, electrocuting Madara. Kakashi, using this, dashed forward and delivered a powerful kick to his ribs, which sent Madara flying backwards into a tree, knocking him unconscious. Madara then woke up. How long has it been since he was last awake? He saw familiar faces and sighed. Madara lost. It was only fair, considering that he was not used to this body. He looked at the girl who was tied to a log. He then looked at his other teammate. "Well, there's no need for you guys to go back to the academy." Sakura had a look of surprise. "All I did was pass out. That was enough. Love wins. Shanaro." She started cheering despite being tied to a log. Sasuke and Madara had no expression. "Yup, all three of you." He paused. "Should quit as ninjas," he then exclaimed. The two other ninjas paused, confused. Madara was keen on what he was going through with. Sakura was sweating while Sasuke had a gloomy to dark mood. "All of you are just brats who don't deserve to be ninja," he explained. Sasuke suddenly bolted towards Kakashi, but before Sasuke was able to hit him, Kakashi had Sasuke face down on the ground, holding his one hand behind his back and his foot on his head. "That's why you're a brat," Kakashi said. "Don't step on Sasuke-kun." Sakura yelled angrily. Madara sighed as he facepalmed. That was the thing she was worried about. "Are you guys underestimating ninjas, huh?" Why do you think you were divided into teams to do this exercise? He asked. Sakura was confused. Huh? What do you mean? She asked. Basically, you guys are not understanding the answer to this test. The answer? Madara asked, keen to know. Yes, the answer that helps you pass this test. So when are you going to tell us? Sakura asked, waiting for the response. Are you guys brainless or something? Don't you get the meaning of a three-man squad? He asked. Everyone remained in silence before Kakashi spoke the answer. It's teamwork. Kakashi said, shocking both Sasuke and Sakura. You mean, working together? Sakura asked. Exactly, but it's too late now even if you realize that now, he answered Sakura's answer. You may have been able to if the three of you may have gotten the bell, Kakashi explained. Madara scoffed. He was stared down by everyone. Why is it every time I do something, you act like I berated someone, he grumbled. Why Naruto? You seem like you have something to say, Kakashi said. I could have taken the bells, he paused before continuing. But I was more interested in a dance, Madara said. Kakashi raised a brow. This time Sakura spoke up. Hey, wait a second. What do you mean by teamwork? There are only 2 bells. She yelled. Even if we work together and get the bells, one of us would still fail, she continued her argument. What teamwork? That just make us fight each other. To which Kakashi countered the point she made. Of course. This test was purposely set up to make you fight amongst yourselves. Huh. The purpose is to see whether you can forget about your own interests, and successfully work together under these designed circumstances. Yet you guys. He turned to look at Sakura. Sakura. Instead of helping Naruto who was unconscious, you were only thinking about Sasuke, who was far away. He then looked at Naruto. Naruto. Even though you could have gotten the bells, you decide to keep on fighting me and waste your time, the looked at Sasuke. Sasuke. You just assumed that the others would get in your way and tried to do everything yourself like Naruto. But unlike Naruto, you kept getting distracted and fixated on him and that he could do what you couldn't do. The duties are done by the team. Of course, superior individual ability is important to a ninja, but what's even more important is teamwork. Individual play that disrupts the team can put your comrades in danger. And even get you killed. For example, Kakashi pulled out a kunai from his ninja pouch and directed it towards Sasuke's neck. Naruto. Kill Sakura. Or Sasuke dies. He yelled. It freaked out Sakura, but Madara did not care. You see. If a hostage is taken, you will have tough choices and die. You will be risking your lives in these duties. He got off Sasuke and proceeded to move towards a stone with words carved on it. Look at this. The names carved on this stone. These are ninjas who are recognized as heroes of the village. The 3 genin did not speak. But they are not just normal heroes, he said sadly. What kind of heroes, sensei? Sakura wondered. They were all heroes who died on missions, he said abruptly. Silence filled the air. Sakura and Sasuke had a sad look on their faces. Madara had some pity. This is a memorial. The names of my friends are also engraved here as well as my best friend. Then dying together can also be considered teamwork. The 3 of them had a look of shock. Naruto. Why you can't say that, Sakura murmured sadly. Kakashi had a look of anger but shook his head off. You guys, I'll give you one more chance. But after lunch I'll make it even harder to get the bells, he explained. Those who want to take on the challenge can have lunch. However, don't give Sakura any. That's very ungentlemanlike of you, Kakashi, Madara mused. Well, Sakura only fainted and did nothing, so she has the most energy. If anyone gives her food, they will fail immediately, Kakashi spoke darkly. Kakashi then disappeared off, leaving Sasuke, Sakura, and Madara alone. Hey, it's fine, Kakashi-sensei said. I didn't use that much energy, so I don't need any food, and plus I'm dieting anyways. Sakura insisted, but her stomach said otherwise. She gave off a large growl. Madara took the food and started to eat. Sasuke also ate but then stopped eating. Here, he offered the food to Sakura. Sasuke-kun. Sensei just said. She said before Sasuke interrupted. Don't worry about him, I don't sense him around. After lunch we'll work together and get the bells, and besides, without food, you'll just be in the way, which will hurt us, he explained, giving a look towards Naruto. Madara sighed. You want me to share food, huh? As if. Madara said. Sasuke tried giving him death glares, which Madara gave back. Madara grunted before grudgingly gave her food. Suddenly a giant cloud of smoke appeared and out popped Kakashi. You three! Kakashi angrily yelled out. Sasuke was fighting the gust while Madara protected his face from the gust blowing. Sakura turned her head to the side to avoid the gusts. You defied the rules, so that means you know what's coming, he said. Do you have something to say? He asked. We are a three-man squad, right? Sasuke asked. Sakura, realizing what Sasuke meant, spoke up. That's right. The three of us are one, so. Whatever they said, Madara observed the scene unfold. The three of you are one, eh? Kakashi questioned. You pass, he said cheerily. Huh? Sakura looked confusingly. We passed. Why? Sakura now asked the silver-haired man. You guys are the first, he said. Sakura made the same comment as before. Everyone else would do whatever I told them. They were all just morons. A ninja must see underneath the underneath. Those who break the rules are scum, but you know what? Those who abandon their friends are worse than scum. That ends the training, all of you passed. Starting tomorrow, Team 7 will begin its duties. He finished his lecture. Madara was finally glad that was over as he left. Sasuke followed Kakashi as they exit the training ground. Sakura was still tied to the log. Hey, shouldn't you guys untie me? Naruto, didn't you say this is ungentlemanlike? Naruto. Sasuke-kun. Kakashi-sensei. Sakura yelled but was to no avail. Madara left deeply rooted in his thoughts of how he could fare better against opponents. Sasuke was glad that he finally became genin and Kakashi was going to read his book.